Well then, how about that 10th Super Bowl appearance by the Patriots? Um, Great game. Jacksonville played very well, and they should be, they should feel like they can now hang. Obviously, this is a team last year that was 3-13, and now all of a sudden they're a game away from the Super Bowl, and played very well, and they deserve a lot of credit. But the Patriots just played better. In the beginning it looked a little worrisome, but second half came by and you could start to tell. And then when it went up 20-10, it was like, guys, this is the fourth quarter. Is Tom Brady really not going to bring them back? I mean, I don't really think there was much people in debate over that. And why should they be? I mean, he's only done it like, what is this now, like the 52nd time in his career? He hasn't had to do it a lot in the postseason. Only 7 times before this game, so now it's 8. But of course, because of the postseason is such a live or die situation, that it gets magnified. But still, this is something that he's been doing before he even joined the NFL. Remember, he did it in college for Michigan, and he knows how to come back late in the game when the pressure's on. It's all right. We got Tom Brady. It'll be fine. And look where he is. He's going to his 8th Super Bowl. He's one step closer. If Tom Brady wins this Super Bowl and goes 6-2, he will have, as the only player in the history of the NFL, the same record if they were to go there and win it. Well, they have gone there. If they win the Super Bowl, Tom Brady, as just a player, will be the only player in league history to have as the same record in Super Bowls that the best record is for a team right now. I don't know if I worded that okay. The Steelers have a 6-2 record in the Super Bowl. If Tom Brady wins, he'll have a 6-2 record. Just him. That's an incredible feat. Lo and behold, the guy I think is the greatest of all time is undoubtedly Otto Graham, because he has the records, the statistics, but also he was revolutionary. But that third one always matters to me, but not in this discussion, because Tom Brady is a current player, obviously, and that part about revolution can only be examined after the fact. But because you have no idea the way that a player's career will go. What if Tom Brady loses this game? He goes 5-3 in Super Bowls. If he wins, he'll be the only quarterback to do 3 out of 4 twice. So clearly he has the chance for immortality, but he could possibly replace Graham if he wins this. He goes 6-2. Otto Graham's record was 7-3 in championships, but I doubt Brady's going to be able to do that. I mean, I doubt he's going to reach another 2 Super Bowls. If he does, then it is definitely he is the greatest. But as far as, appearances matter, and regardless of the era, the year, the style of football, it doesn't matter. The goal, the limit that is set, the benchmark that every quarterback will ever be measured against is Otto Graham's 10 straight championship games. Because you got to remember, you don't play football for any other reason than to win. So if winning is the only thing that matters, nobody won more than Graham. Nobody even got to the game more than Graham. And if you want to give me that ridiculous excuse about how it was in yesteryear, yeah, but nobody in yesteryear did it either. You're acting like that was a dime a dozen. No, it's never happened before, during, or since. This is the closest anyone's ever got. And, 10 appearances, 7 wins. This would be Brady's 8th appearance and 6th win. If he wins it, that would put him right up there. He's obviously the best quarterback in Patriots history. There's no doubt about that. But I think a lot of sports analysts and stuff, they are obviously in it for entertainment. And they're only going to talk about players that are more in the public conscience and have more appeal to listen to. Most people don't even know who Otto Graham is. But it doesn't matter. Football was still being played on a 100-yard field, 11 on 11, 60-minute game with 4 15-minute quarters, 3 timeouts to both teams per half, and there was an elimination tournament in the postseason where the final game consisted of 2 teams fighting it all out, and whoever won got a ring. I don't have a ring on, but they got a ring, they got a trophy, and they were called the best team in the league. Sounds like the Super Bowl to me. Who cares if they didn't call it a Super Bowl? They didn't always call it the Stanley Cup either. The Stanley Cup is just a fancy way of saying the National Hockey League Championship Series. The World Series is just the Major League Baseball Series. The NBA Finals is nothing more than the National Basketball Association's Championship Series. And on and on. In this case, the Super Bowl is nothing more than the National Football League's championship game. That's what they used to call it. It's the same thing. It's a game that determines who's the best team in the league. Who cares what it's called? And sure, there's going to be aspects to the change, but it's not like back in the 1950s, people used to run down the field on their hands and throw the ball out of their anus. It looked exactly the same way, except, the high-definition cameras certainly help it look better, but it's not like the players were lined up on the sideline and went out, started dancing, and that was who. No. It was the exact same game. It just happens to look better now. And, there happens to be some changes, sure, like where the goalposts sit and, certain penalties that exist. But, it is what it is. The game of football has not changed, in any kind of great significant way since the 1950s. It's the same game. 11 on 11, 60 minutes. Winner goes home. Loser goes home. Winner keeps on playing. Who cares if they happen to call the players a different position now or something like that? Sure, that means that the position may not have existed the way that it did, but there was a basal form of it, which means that, see, if you learn how to ride a bike at 5 years old, then whether you ever rode a bike again or not, at 55 years old, the same logic would apply. Sit on a seat, put your hand on handlebars, and pedal your feet. It's never going to change. Once you learn how to do something, you'll remember how to do it forever. Save for lobotomy or something. But so if you could throw a football in 1918, you can throw a football in 2018. There's no difference to that. You're still going to use the same tendons and ligaments and muscles in your body. You're still going to have a certain stance to do it, and you're still going to have to do it for a reason. Who cares? Anybody can throw a pass. All those excuses about different things. The bottom line is you play to win. That's the only objective to playing. And Autogram one more. So Brady's on his level now if he wins it. He'll still have less appearances and one less victory. But hey, to do it right now is, where it's more teams and stuff like that, it's a little bit harder. Sure. But it's still not beyond the realms of possibility because, look, Tom Brady's living proof of it. It can be achieved what Autogram achieved. Can Tom Brady do it? He'll have to get to 2 more Super Bowls. I guess we'll see. But as of right now, it's 5-2 in Super Bowls, and we have a chance to possibly make it 6. Congratulations to Jacksonville. They played a very tough game. They played like they're ready for prime time. I don't think Blake Bortles was the problem. I don't think the coaching staff was the problem. The refs were certainly not the problem. It was a very good game by Jacksonville. They just happened to run up against a player that is not only the GOAT, of the last half century, but they were also going up against a guy who's not only the GOAT, but realizes that regardless of how well he is taking care of himself and regardless of how much he may think so, there's no way Tom Brady is playing till he's 50. So it's guaranteed he's going to retire within the next 4 to 5 years. It's going to happen. There's no doubt about it, because I highly doubt Tom Brady is going to be coming out there in a walker and, taking a Geritol and throwing the ball 5 yards while we have somebody run over with the ball and hand it to the... That's not what's going to happen. Tom Brady is going to retire soon. It's inevitable. He has no choice to. Father Time will catch up to you. And I'm not going to go into the whole discussion about falling off a cliff. No. I'm sure he already said that he'll retire once he sucks. So he knows that if he sees that cliff right there, he'll just retire and save himself the embarrassment. But that embarrassment isn't happening tomorrow. And I guess we'll have to see. Shout out to Danny Amendola. That was a great effort by him. You could kind of sense it. He is definitely the reason we won today. He was MVP of the game. Made so many great plays, good blocks, great punt return. He was there when it needed him. And, people rag on Amendola, but Amendola's been there as a starter for only like 1 year less than Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman is a star, but since he missed this season, the entire season, you can't count this one. And he was there for 3 years before Danny Amendola got there. But he didn't really play much the first 2 years. He didn't really become a staple until 2011. And even then, he missed time. And 2012 was the real breakout. So he's only really had 1 year more than Amendola there. And a lot of people ragged on Amendola. I can remember in 2013 or so, for most of the year, people talking about how they should cut Danny Amendola for this. And I was like, guys, you got to give the brother a chance. Which is a funny thing to say since he's white, but still, you got to give him a chance. You got to let him succeed. See if he can. And the reason I bring all this up, he has more Super Bowl catches than Julian Edelman does. He has more Super Bowl catches than Randy Moss does from Tom Brady. He caught the touchdown that actually broke the record that Tom Brady had with Joe Montana in the tie for most touchdowns in a Super Bowl. Danny Amendola is the one who caught that. So I'm not obviously trying to diminish other players, but I want people to remember, Danny Amendola ain't no joke. This ain't like this is his only game and people are blowing it up. This man's a stud on the field. He knows how to get it done. And he got it done today. And it's nice to have those kind of playmakers around. It all obviously isn't just Brady. Just like it all obviously wasn't Joe Montana. It wasn't all obviously Otto Graham. It's a team game, but no matter how good your team is, I don't know the score on the Eagles game right now because I'm not watching it much. I've been trying to film this, but I'm actually looking it up right now. But wow, 21-7 Eagles. I don't know who to root for. I want the Vikings to win because, in a way, because I would like to see a team win it all in their own stadium, get there in their home stadium. But at the same time, the Eagles kind of deserve it. But my reason for bringing it up is because you know very well that if Carson Wentz had not gotten hurt, this would be a run. It would be 21-7 without it being a surprise. Because, but you see, quarterback goes out, the team falls apart because you need that commander-in-chief, really, which is what the quarterback is, the field general, the guy who's calling the shots, who you have the absolute trust will make the right decision at the right time, throw the ball the correct way to the correct person, read the defense correctly, do all those things. That's why they get so much attention, despite the fact that it is a team game, and they sometimes get congratulated to where it looks like it's a single-person game. But because they got so much responsibility to do. And, I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see how Tom Brady handles it. But I'm kind of hoping for the Eagles, because if the Vikings go, it'll be a closer game. I'm actually hoping for the Vikings, because if the Vikings go, it'll be a closer game. They'll have a better defense to be able to give our offense some fits. We put up 35 against Tennessee, whose defense wasn't as good as Jacksonville, and we saw we only put up 24, and it took us most of the game to do that. Well, it was 24-7 at halftime, Eagles. That game is very anticlimactic. Perhaps the NFC should have played first today. But either way, Patriots are going to go. They're already there. Tickets already stamped. I guess we'll see. How it goes. But if it's New England and Minnesota, I'm going to say 27-21 Patriots. If it's the Eagles, I'm going to say 34-17 Patriots. Which would be nice to finally have a good Super Bowl for the Patriots without it being, taking years off my life. So I don't feel very good. So But that's that. Go Pats. 10 Super Bowl. Been there for them all. Hope you guys do well.